Russia has halted the delivery of critical components of S-400 air defense systems to China. This comes as China faces a global backlash due to the raging pandemic, its action on Hong Kong, and military standoff with India. Viewers may note that China became the first foreign buyer of S-400 when a $3 billion deal for the delivery of 6 S-400 battalions, a total of 36 launchers, was signed. It was reported that China received its first S-400 shipment in May 2018, but several components, including missiles, are yet to be delivered. Also, Russia is yet to provide some on-site training and installation that will enable China's S-400 systems to be operationally deployed. This is a very interesting development since India's S-400, which is currently in production in Russia, is on track for delivery by the end of 2021, as per Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, who visited Russia recently. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why Russia has abruptly suspended delivery of S-400 to China. Let's get into the details. This video is sponsored by the free-to-play military vehicle combat game War Thunder. We talk a lot about military vehicles on this channel, but what about trying them out for yourself? In War Thunder, you can choose from more than 1,200 playable vehicles from the 1930s to the 1990s and go to battle on more than 80 theaters of war. You can fly aircraft, helicopters, drive tanks, and command ships of all types and sizes, which have been carefully recreated from their real-world counterparts. It's available as a free download on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. So grab your friends and give it a try. All viewers of Defense Updates that register using the link in the description below will also get a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time as a bonus. S-400 Triumph is an air defense weapon system developed by Russia's Almaz Central Design Bureau in the 1990s as an upgrade to the S-300 family. It's been in service with the Russian Armed Forces since 2007. It's designed to defend against aircraft, including fifth-generation stealth fighters, bombers, AWACS, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles. S-400 is considered one of the most powerful air defense systems in the world. The radars of S-400 have a range of around 600 kilometers, or around 370 miles. The main radar is complemented by target acquisition radars, some of which are touted to have the ability to detect stealth aircraft. S-400 deploys multiple missiles to cover its strike envelope and can take out targets at a range of 400 kilometers or 250 miles, flying up to a speed of Mach 14. Even several people in other countries have expressed confidence in the system. For example, Turkish President Erdogan was quoted by NTV as saying, "One S-400 is worth 3 Patriots. If the conditions are even equal to the S-400 deal, we would buy Patriots, but they are not. We have to think of our interests." Because of its capabilities, S-400 has the potential to change the tactical balance in a region. Citing Chinese newspaper Sohu, UA Wire reported, "This time Russia announced the postponement of the delivery of missiles for the Chinese S-400 system. To a certain extent, we can say that it's for the sake of China. Getting a gun is not as easy as signing an invoice after receiving a weapon. They say that the work on delivering these weapons is quite complicated. While China has to send personnel for training, Russia also needs to send a lot of technical personnel to put the weapons into service. The reasons given by Russia are very heartwarming. It turns out that Russia is worried that the delivery of S-400 missiles at this time will affect the anti-pandemic actions of the Chinese army and does not want to cause trouble to China. But the reason stated is implausible, judging from different aspects. One, it's hard to understand how the delivery and installation of S-400 components could result in the spread of the coronavirus in China. Both the countries can easily test personnel who are involved in the logistical transfer of S-400. Two, It's clear that the decision is taken unilaterally by Russia, and China has been caught unaware. If the problem was purely technical in nature, Russia and China would have discussed this and rescheduled the delivery. Russia's suspension of S-400 missiles to China comes after Moscow had earlier accused Beijing of spying. Russian authorities have found Valery Mitko, president of its St. Petersburg Arctic Social Sciences Academy, guilty of handing over classified materials to the Chinese intelligence, as reported by TASS. This seems to have a major impact. There is another recent development that also needs to be taken into consideration, involving the Chinese claiming the Russian city of Vladivostok. To celebrate the 160th anniversary of Vladivostok, a video was posted by the Russian embassy on the Chinese social media website Weibo. But Chinese, including diplomats, journalists, and social media users, objected to this almost instantly. They claimed it was Qing's Manchurian homeland, but was annexed by the Russian Empire in 1860 after China was defeated by the British and the French during the Second Opium War. Shen Shiwaim, a journalist at the Chinese state-run broadcaster China Global Television Network (CGTN), tweeted, "This tweet of hashtag Russian Embassy to hashtag China isn't so welcome on Weibo. The history of Vladivostok is from 1860, when Russia built a military harbor. But the city was Hanshinwai as Chinese land before Russia annexed it via unequal treaty of Beijing." Chinese diplomats and Chinese Communist Party's IT cell have also jumped in. Zhang Haixing, a wolf warrior from China, currently stationed at the country's mission in Pakistan, said, "Isn't this what in the past was Hanshinwai?" It's also to be noted that there have been many developments over the past few years that indicate that Russia is wary of China's long-term goals. In early June 2017, reports from Russian media indicated that yet another ground forces missile brigade received the dreaded Iskander-M missile system. The brigade was the 29th Army's newly established 3rd Missile Brigade, based in Russia's enormous Eastern Military District. Russia's Eastern Military District is basically directed at China, and placing an advanced system like Iskander-M clearly indicates that Russia feels it needs to guard against Chinese forces. Not only this, Russia recently expressed its frustration publicly regarding China's rampant copying of military platforms when Yevgeny Levadny, Rostec's chief of intellectual property projects, called out China. The impact of these copies is so large that some quarters of the Russian power circle objected to the sale of S-400 to China. The deal was eventually sealed after Russian analysts felt that S-400 is too complicated to reverse engineer. Russia's armed forces commenced the operational strategic exercise Vostok 2014 in the Russian Far East, which, like the earlier Vostok 2010, contained robust indications that the Russian strategists continue to consider China a potential threat. From the 11th to the 17th of September in 2018, Vostok 2018 was held. China and Mongolia were also included in the exercise and became the first countries outside of the former Soviet Union to join the Vostok exercises. The inclusion of China, as per military analysts, was done to pacify one of its major trading partners. Also, some other analysts have stated that it was done so as to give China a glimpse of Russian capabilities so that it acts as a soft deterrent. Chinese intelligence trying to make inroads into the sensitive matter is crossing a red line that seems to have annoyed Russia. Russia is not a country that will take things lying down. A large chunk of Chinese weapons is of Russian origin. Russia could cripple the Chinese military by just stopping the supply of spare parts and supporting services. Also, it's to be noted that recent Indo-Chinese confrontation is an important aspect. India and Russia have strong long-term ties, and China deploying a Russian asset against India will be detrimental to it. This may also have played a role apart from other factors. It's clear that Chinese actions seem to be distancing it even from friendly countries. It remains to be seen how things pan out in the coming days.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.